What's going on, YouTube? This is SG1 Sports. If you're watching our college football channel, some interesting moves by Nick Saban over the past week or so. We're going to kind of talk about that, go over these new hires that they have made, and talk about really why he's doing it. Why is Nick Saban making these moves? And I'll tell you what I think, because I think there is a specific reason why he chose, especially Tommy Rees on the offensive side. And we'll just talk about kind of the big picture of Alabama and how their dominance is starting to slip away. It's starting to slip away in college football and in the SEC, and we'll kind of dive into that as well. So let's start with these hires, and we're going to start on the defensive side of the ball. This one's really not a huge deal to me, not a big story. Kevin Steele going to Alabama. He has experience with Nick Saban. He was actually his first defensive coordinator at Alabama back in 2007. He was there for a couple of years, and then again in 2013, 2014. So he's got experience with Nick Saban. He's got experience really all over college football, all over the Southeast. He's been at Auburn, been at LSU, just came from Miami. Now, you look at the numbers last year, Miami was ranked number 64 in total defense. They did not have a very good defense. Was it just because he wasn't a good fit there? The talent's just not there yet. What was the reason why Miami is just as a team was not very good last season, and you have to wonder, is Kevin Steele past his prime? Is he kind of starting to go downhill as a coach? He's not a really great recruiter, but I still think with his experience with Nick Saban and the rest of this staff, the defense is going to be fine. Nick Saban's trying to just get back to his old ways. I think he's going to have a lot of input, a lot of control in this defense, and I'm not really concerned with this hire. It's not a home run hire, but it's a safe hire, and I think Alabama's defense is going to be just fine. Really, this video is going to be more about what they're trying to do on offense. So let's talk about Tommy Rees for a second. Of course, he was the offensive coordinator at Notre Dame the past 3 seasons. Well, their offense, it ranked number 60 at Notre Dame last year. They were not great offensively, really inconsistent, had some ups and downs there. And so this one also is a bit of a head scratcher and a little bit more of a head scratcher than the Kevin Steele hire. So why did Nick Saban go after Tommy Rees? Well, I do think I know possibly why he made this move. If you look at kind of Nick Saban and his history, he usually tries to get out ahead of things. And if you look at the trends of college football over the past 10, 15 years, as they started to go more to the spread, more to the passing game, what did he do? He went out and got Lane Kiffin. He went out and got Steve Sarkisian. He got these offensive minds that could use tempo, that could air it out, be balanced on offense. All of these things that he was able to get out of these offenses, and it won them some national championships. Without those types of offenses, Alabama would not have won some of the national championships that they won. Probably wouldn't have been able to beat Clemson. You had to, just the way college football has changed, you have to be able to score points. But I think what Nick Saban is doing is he's looking at Michigan. He's looking at Jim Harbaugh, looking at how Michigan just couldn't seem to get over the hump against Ohio State. But what did Jim Harbaugh do? He focused in on running the football, playing good defense, being physical at the line of scrimmage, which is what Alabama used to be. They've kind of gotten away from that over the past few years. But I think Nick Saban sees that now that all of these teams are going to the spread offenses, all the the up tempo and everything, the new formula might just be to run the football, slow the game down, play smash mouth, in your face, run the football type offense like they used to do at Alabama. It's kind of he's trying to kind of get out ahead of this. This is what I believe. And you look at Tommy Rees, you look at Notre Dame. What have they been able to do? Run the football, use their big tight ends. Really not, they have thrown it. I think there is a misconception that they just don't throw the football. Notre Dame still throws the football. They haven't had a lot of talent at wide receiver there at Notre Dame. I think that's something that's held them back. But they've been fairly balanced, but it's still a run-first offense with Tommy Rees, and that's what Nick Saban wants. He wants to get back to running the football. Will it work? Is this the right move? Well, time will tell. You look at the SEC now, and first of all, Georgia's the big problem. I don't think this is going to work against Georgia. I think Georgia's defense and the way that they're built, I don't think you can beat them running the football. I just don't. I think you've got to be able to do what Ohio State did last year when they almost beat them in the college football playoff. You have got to be able to make plays through the air. Yes, you've got to be balanced. You've got to be able to run it some. But I don't think this is the right move to beat Georgia. I really don't. I think Georgia now really is the king of the SEC. They're the best program, and I don't think it's even up for debate after winning back-to-back national championships, the way that they've been recruiting. Again, I don't think this is going to work against Georgia. Saban thinks maybe that it is. I disagree. I don't see Alabama being able to beat Georgia consistently without a really good passing attack. You just can't do it. Kirby Smart's defense is just too good. So, for beating Georgia, I don't think this is the right move. But for staying kind of where they're at in the SEC, this might be a good move for Alabama. When you look at the SEC and you look over the past several years, and you look at Alabama's dominance in the SEC, well, Tennessee was down. LSU, they've been up and down. You look at all these teams that really, Alabama hasn't had a huge challenger come out of the SEC. Maybe there's a team every now and then that pops up, like LSU in 2019, or, I can't really even think of anyone else until Georgia came along. They kind of had it easy in the SEC, but now you look at Tennessee and what they have been able to do. They just beat Alabama last year. Look at LSU under Brian Kelly. That's a program that is going to be very dangerous. Look at Lane Kiffin and Ole Miss and what he's been able to do with that offense. Look at Texas A&M, the way that they've been able to recruit, the way they've been able to play Alabama really close and beat them at times. Look at Auburn with Hugh Freeze. They're starting to pick up some momentum already in recruiting. This is a program that could be really good down the road. So you look at all the competition in the SEC, and what I think Saban's trying to do is kind of change and get ahead of the curve and get back to running the football. You look at a team like Tennessee. How do you beat them? Well, maybe you do. Run the football. Control the clock. Keep that offense on the sidelines. Maybe a Lane Kiffin offense, a Hugh Freeze offense at Auburn. You look at some of these teams. I think this probably works against those teams as long as Alabama continues to recruit at the level that they're recruiting, bringing in all these elite athletes. I think it probably works. Offensive line is going to be a big key to this. But I do believe that's what Nick Saban's thinking here. And like I said, I think it keeps Alabama right there near the top of the SEC. But I don't think that they overcome Georgia with this formula. They're going to need an elite quarterback, and they're going to need a great passing attack to be able to take down Georgia, in my opinion. And another thing that's interesting here, Tommy Rees was with Brian Kelly at LSU. Could maybe Saban be getting him to try to get some inside info to be able to beat LSU this year? And it's also interesting that Tommy Rees did not go with Brian Kelly to LSU, didn't leave Notre Dame for the SEC, but he does leave to go to Alabama. That also is kind of interesting here in this whole story, but we'll see how it plays out. Again, I think it's an interesting move. I'm not convinced that it will work. Alabama is starting to kind of slip away, and with all the competition in the SEC, I don't know that Alabama will continue to be right there among the top two programs in the SEC. I think that there's going to be a group of teams, and Alabama might just be kind of mixed in with all those teams. We'll see again how it plays out. It's a bold move, and it's an interesting move here, and a little bit risky in my opinion. But Nick Saban, I don't count him out. Look at what he's done throughout his career. Again, I'd love to get your thoughts on this. Do you think that it was a good move, kind of changing that offense, going back to the old school Alabama attack with Tommy Rees as the offensive coordinator? Do you think it's a good move? Do you think it's going to work? Do you think Alabama is starting to fall off? Is the dynasty dead? I think we can already say the dynasty is dead. Alabama is not. Georgia is the new dynasty in college football, but are they still an elite program? Will they continue to still be an elite program with this move? Would love to get your thoughts on this. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Thank you for watching this video, and stay tuned for more here on the SG1 Sports College Football Channel.